Tara. This is my mom, Jill. We are the authors of the Dining on a Dime cookbook, where you can eat better, spend less, and save on your grocery bills, so that we can answer this question today from Debbie. Do you have a budget for savings? For example, do you take off 25% and put it in the bank first, or divide it in half and put half in the bank and half on a bill? Just curious. Always should have an emergency fund. So here's the thing. Where people get in trouble is when they don't have an emergency fund. And what do we mean by that? We mean your car breaks down, you can't pay for repairs. Your refrigerator dies, you can't get it repaired or get a new refrigerator. Then people put it on their credit card, then they're charged interest on their credit card, and then it's a vicious cycle that just keeps going and going. So an emergency fund really is something that you should work hard towards having. And majority of people can do that, unless you're just in extreme poverty. Most people can do a savings. They just don't want to do a savings. And so for Mike and I, when we got started, we had that same problem. You know, we would have something break down, we wouldn't have the savings, and it finally got to the point where we just had to earn more money, period. Now, what happened with us was, thankfully, we would have these breakdowns, and it would be around tax time when we would get our tax refund, so we were able to fix the car then. Or we got a refund from insurance company or something like that. So we were able to use it for those emergency type things. But here's the thing. Most people, when they get those types of windfalls, they go and blow it on a big screen TV. Or they go on vacation. We did not spend it to go on vacation. We used it to repair the car. And so then eventually it got to the point where Mike was earning more money. And that was our first priority. When he started earning money, we got $1,000 saved up. Then, when we were doing even a little bit better, our second priority was to get $5,000 saved up, so that if a car completely pooped out on us and we couldn't repair it, we could buy a new car without having any debt. Now, how do you do 25% or something like that? We didn't. We just, as we would get a windfall with a tax refund or something like that, then we would go ahead and put it in.
And what I did too is I would take, sometimes like I take all my $5 bills and just put in a jar, or $10 bills. You can do something like that. One thing I think people make a mistake of thinking is they cannot save until they get a big chunk of money to save. You know, as soon as if I get $200, you know, for something, or $500, then that's a savings.
Yeah.
You don't do it that way. You inch along, you know, you put in, do $10, you do $20, just wherever you find a little bit.
I would rather have you put that 10 cents you found on the floor of the car to savings for a jar. The problem is you have to get into a habit of saving.
Doing it. Yeah.
If you don't get into that habit of saving, you're not going to get used to it, and you're going to think you have that money all the time. But when you get into that habit, then it's just normal, and that's a normal bill for you.
Yeah.
So like for us, when we did it, when we started making more money, it didn't even occur to us to spend that money, because that was already spent on our savings.
Yeah. What you have to do is also, if you're serious about this, and you should be, I would want a candy bar so bad, but I wouldn't get it. I would take the money I was going to spend on the candy bar, because I thought, okay, if I got money to spend on candy bar, I better put it in savings. And you only do this, it's not like eternity.
Yeah.
You got to
It was just until we got our savings
built up. It feels like for all the rest of my life, I'm going to be struggling. You just do this for a little bit. If you can get it out of the mindset that it's just going to be an eternity of hard work and struggle, it's easier to do. I thought, okay, for a couple of years here, I couldn't give up candy bars for a couple of years, but I could give up a lot of things, little things.
You could, but you chose not to.
I chose not to, I know. But, you know, if you want a cup of coffee and you're ready to stop to buy a cup of coffee someplace, think, you know, if I just go home, I can put the pot on, take me 2 seconds, and I can put all this chunk into savings. And then in a year or two, you'll have, or a year even, you'd have enough saved up that then you're fine. You don't have to worry about it.
And if you are just living paycheck to paycheck and just can't do anything at all, there comes a point you have to earn more money, period. Now, what does that look like? Maybe your husband or you need to get a better job. Maybe you're just going to have to wait until the kids grow up and get out of the house, and then you're going to start having more. But there does get, I mean, when Mike was earning $6 an hour, you know, we really didn't have anywhere to go but up. Well, okay, he got laid off on the $6 an hour, so we did go down. But
you know,
when you get to that point, you kind of really have no place to go but up. And for us, he got a job that was $15 an hour, but it was a 100-mile drive each way. We couldn't afford to move to the same town where he was working in. And he was sleeping in his car. He was sleeping on the floor in his office under the desk. Then he finally got this hovel, and I mean, it was a scary hovel.
I've never seen anything
like it. It was
a
cellar in a basement.
It was literally a cellar.
Literally
you couldn't even hardly stand up in the place. Dark, dank,
concrete block underneath cellar that he was living in for like $100 a month or something. You do what you got to do, and it's not forever. It's to get yourself up to the next position, and then things will start rolling along. But you may have to do some extreme things like we did to get yourself up and going.
Yeah, well, I think happens a lot of times. You listen to financial people, and they'll say, okay, you do this, A, B, C. You know, you to do your savings, you do your this, and you do your that. And you got to do a certain percentage of all these things, and this is the way it works. I would honestly say, I may not be off whack 90% of the time, these things don't work. They're trying to buttonhole you into a certain thing. Everybody has different circumstances. Everybody has different family members, different income, all these different things that are working. That is nothing like the buttonhole or the box they're trying to put you in to do these savings. You have to learn to adapt and adjust what you need to do. And you got to think this through. You don't always have to copy. Copying somebody else doesn't always work. Most of the time, it doesn't work at all. You're different. Yeah. You're unique. But the point is, do something.
Do something.
And do a little bit if you have to, and then do a little bit more. Just do something. But stop trying to hold yourself into a category that they're always trying to put you in.
Yep. All right, guys. So with your savings, go check out our Dining on a Dime cookbook so you can save even more.
You can use the money for the savings.
Yes, of course, we have tons of free recipes and tips at livingonadime.com to help you save more on your grocery bill so you can turn it around and put it in your savings. We will see you guys next time.
Bye-bye.